Hello! Before we get started today, lots of people ask me what kind of equipment I use. I've talked about the pens quite a lot, but I draw everything with a mechanical pencil. And this is the one I've been using for the past couple of months, I think. But the eagle-eyed among you will realise that I used to use this pencil. Now, this pencil was bought for me as a gift about, 6 years ago. And I'll be honest with you, it's a wormwood pencil. Wormwood Gaming. They mostly make tables and stuff these days, but it is probably the best mechanical pencil I've ever owned. I believe they are quite pricey, and I don't think they make them anymore, unfortunately. But like all mechanical pencils, though the outer casing is fine, the gubbins inside, the sort of mechanism, kind of went kaput, which was a bit sad. So I was without my beloved pencil, and a couple of weeks ago I thought, you know what, I'll reach out to Wormwood to see if they still make these pencils. And they were very good, and they not only answered my questions, but they sent me something very nice in the post. They sent me a free pencil, because they don't make them anymore, but they do have some overstock that they said I think they're going to sell them at Christmas at a discounted rate. So I got a very nice purple heart wood wormwood pencil, and dare I say it, I think this might be even better than the other one. So I am very excited to use this in my work going forward. Now I will say 6 years sounds like a long time for a pencil, but bear in mind I use this thing for about 6 hours every day for 6 years, so it gets a lot of abuse. But yeah, big thank you to Wormwood. And they have a fantastic YouTube channel called Wyrm Life. If you're interested in wood and furniture and making stuff, go have a look at that, because it's really, really good. So yeah, anyway, just thought I'd share that with you, and we'll get on with drawing stuff now. Alright, cool. Okay, got my dice ready, all there in my nice horn. Let's see what we get for day 2. 47. What's 47? Zombie guards. Okay, I can work with that. Let's do it. Okay, zombie guards. I can draw zombies all day, every day, forever. I think it's probably the thing I've drawn more of for my own entertainment than anything else. And I find a good silhouette kind of works, and if they're guards, they've got helmets, you can cover a lot of things up but still make them quite creepy and interesting. Kind of relieved I got this today. I'm very busy. Suddenly I can go weeks without anyone wanting to see me at all, and I'm meeting like 3 different groups of people today, so kind of pleased this is a nice easy one. Just filling it in as I go, adding a couple of details, gravestones. I feel like they might pop up, so I thought I'll put them in now just in case. And then just putting a bit of detail into the zombies, making sure that kind of horizon line of that hill follows from yesterday's one, follows up. And just to make sure these guys look extra dead, I'm sticking them with arrows and swords and things like that. So just gives it a bit more visual interest. So nice easy one today. Didn't have to think too hard, which is quite nice. But yeah, you know, so I am curious to see what tomorrow brings and how I'm going to bring this indoors a little bit. That's my next challenge. Okay, got the prompt list. Today's prompt is sneaky. Right, let's have a quick look to see what I did last year. So I really like this guy. I like he kind of comes across sneaky. I like the 2 knives, I like the cape. So I think I might do something similar to this, but make it different enough that it's new this year. So yeah, let's do that. So kind of thinking about the same design aspects like the hood and the knives, I really wanted to put this guy in kind of a different position, like he's just jumped out of the shadows, so he's just been sneaky and he's maybe ambushed somebody. And so it's just to begin with, like always, I kind of just build that kind of little shape, so I know where the arms and legs are, and then I go in with the detail, always with the face first. Particularly with goblins, they're kind of like quite maniacal. The way I draw them, they're quite maniacal. So yeah, and really skinny arms. I love giving them skinny arms, and then just sort of having those knives kind of pointing 2 different ways, like one's maybe for stabbing and one's for slashing. and then sort of angling that foot up and playing around with the one at the bottom, just trying to make a dynamic pose, and then using the cape almost like he's Batman, you know, he's jumped out of the shadows like Batman. So once I've nailed that, I often find that kind of most of the stress, not that there's much stress with these drawings, is kind of taken away. I know what I'm doing at that point, and then it's just the fun part, kind of embellishing things. A little trick I do with eyes is I don't do an entire circle, a filled in circle for the kind of pupils. I leave a little kind of gap at the top, and it kind of, don't know, kind of gives it a sense of life. Yeah, if you're interested in all this, as always, you can head to oddartworks.com, get these prompts, maybe buy a map. I am selling these drawings on there, so if you're interested, obviously there's only one, so head on over and I'll sell it to you and post it to you. Yeah, that's it really. Somebody asked about the way I shade. I always imagine that, like, if I'm the cameraman, if you like, and I'm looking at this goblin, I've got a light on my camera, so I've got some light coming forward, and then I normally pick a point off to one side where the light is coming from, so it's kind of shining down on the character a little bit, so that kind of means I can kind of put my shadows in, and I'm quite deliberate with my shadows. I kind of, particularly with an ink drawing, I don't really do kind of a mid-tone. It's either shadow or it's not, and I try not to go too extreme with it because I like to get a bit of detail in there. You know, Mike Mignola's work, for example, which I love, he's very, very brave and very, very expert, like, with his use of shadows. I don't think I'm that brave, and I also want to put more detail into my drawings than he does. His drawings are beautiful and they work really well in the way they are, but I don't know, for me I like a bit of detail, so that's sort of what I go with. And then the next bit is just trying to join everything up, kind of thinking about his clothes. If he's sneaky, he's not going to be wearing metal armour or anything like that, so kind of just cloth, and he's just trying to get that idea that he's jumped out of the shadows and he's going to attack somebody. You know, he's quite mental in a way, quite insane, and yeah, you know, it's just good. I kind of like goblins because you can't really get them wrong. They're good fun like that. They're all kind of insane, and quite funny. You know, they're not. I think when you're drawing orcs, they can be a bit serious and they can have this kind of tragic kind of story. Whereas goblins, I kind of like how ridiculous they are. It's brilliant. You know, so I hope if you're taking part in Gobtober, I hope your goblins are ridiculous and doing crazy things. You can see I changed my mind about that foot, so I kind of just angled it down a little bit. That's perfectly fine. That's what the pencil's there to do. So I felt like it was making him look like he was stood on the ground, kind of ruining that kind of sense of movement. And then, as always, go in with my big fat smelly pen. This one isn't the biggest, fattest, smelliest pen. It is a smelly pen, but it's not as big and fat as the one I normally use, but it still does a good job. So I think it's from the same pack, actually, same W.H. Smith's pack. Yep, sneaky. That was today's one, so feel like I'm kind of getting there with that. I think this will be the last thing I do in this video today. Like I said, I've got a lot of other things on, but yeah, hopefully tomorrow I can talk about some stuff that's not just goblins and maps. Who knows? Alright folks, I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Share it to anyone you like, and yeah, if you're financially able, join the Patreon. It's great support to the channel, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the video. And there we go, finished Goblin. Happy with him. There you go. Alright folks, thanks again to my lovely patrons. Can't do these videos without you. And I will see you tomorrow folks. Take it easy. Bye now.